Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Cal Royal number SBDG00 26D solid brass door guard packed with angle protector and a plated satin chromium. So this is a door guard. It is a item that's used generally in hotel applications. You do see them in residential applications as well. But generally in a residential application, you might see a chain. The door guard is used to permit a small amount of ventilation. When I say ventilation, you know, it permits you to open the door a small amount without it being able to be fully opened. The issue with the door guard is that it's not fire rated. Cal Royal and others have versions of door guards for hotel use that are fire rated or permissible to be used on a fire rated door or listed, you know, for use on a fire rated door. So this is a door guard. You're going to see them all over the place in hotels. Those hotel doors are fire rated. They really not technically, they're actually not permitted to be used on fire-rated doors because they can prevent the door from self-closing and self-latching. Because the door can be open and the arm can be thrown into the opening, and then the door can come and just hit it and not latch. The more modern version that is listed, that is, I believe it's labeled as well, but it's certainly listed and permissible for use on fire-rated doors, acts in such a way that when the door guard is in place and the door can open up this far, if the door were to be opened and the door guard thrown, that would happen. That's not possible on this type of model. So be mindful. If you have fire-rated doors, you want something else altogether. You want to stay away from this. That item can be reviewed below this video to a link called, actually it's too new of a product to be in the cut sheet that we have. There's a link below this product to the manufacturer's page in our site where you can pull up the product catalog. I'm going to pull that up now so I can at least in this video tell you the part number for the fire rated, because you might say, okay, no, I've got to go in that direction. I have fire rated doors. Okay, so that part number is in the full line catalog, and its part number is HPDL258. HPDL258. That one's going to get you home with it being something that would be permissible for use on a fire rated door. It's going to do the same thing. You're seeing them more and more. I bet they've been in the market for maybe 5 or 10 years at this point. You do see them in hotels. They're also nice because they don't mar the door like door guards or door chains can and do. That's why this has an angle protector on it, and we'll go over that in a moment. So HPDL 258 available in oil rub bronze, polished chrome, satin chrome, polished brass, satin brass. Now, back to the item at hand. We have a door guard. You're going to see them in hotels all the time. Occasionally residential applications, but not. I don't see them in residential applications very often. The very principle and concept of this is that this portion is attached to the frame, to the casing, to the face of the frame, and is rotated out of the way for operating the door. It has positive locking in 3 positions, which is nice, rather than it possibly being able to vibrate into a position. You know, there's going to be micro vibrations in a hotel with the elevators moving and people walking down, and things can vibrate and do move. They give this positive locking this feature because of that problem. They do creep closed. That will prevent that from happening. So you're going to throw this over, but what you're going to do first is you're going to put the stop guide onto the face of the door. And in a proper installation, and we're going to go over that, these two are spaced a specific amount apart. And I'm going to just put it in position so you can kind of see how it articulates. It's going to end up looking like that. So now my hand with this is going to act as if the door is being pushed open. It's not going to go far. It's going to go, you know, that amount. Not even that amount. It'll go less than that. It'll go a bit more like that. So the door is going to open, let's just say for the sake of not mincing this too great, it's going to open maybe 3 1/4 inch. Something in that range. Okay? So that's where I use the term ventilating. It will kind of ventilate. Made of solid brass. This is available in different finishes, and I have those finishes listed here somewhere. The fact that it's made of solid brass will permit you to expect a reasonably good finish, an architectural metal like brass. Oil rub bronze, the same finishes. Oil rub bronze, polished chrome, satin chrome, polished brass, satin brass. Now the angle protector, what's that all about? Well, what happens is door is closed, okay? You go to get ice. It's the next door over. You're alone. You're going to open the door. You're going to throw this. Okay? And what's going to happen? The door is going to close, and this is going to keep the door ajar while you take that 15-second run 10 feet away. This is attached to the edge of the door so that when the door closes, it doesn't mar the edge of the door. That's exactly what that's for. I don't feel so... I don't do it when there's no angle protector, but I'll gently rest that against the face of the material. But that's what the angle protector is for. And we find angle protectors are relatively new in the terms of door guards, which are decades and decades old. You for sure will find catalogs that are 100 years old, and you're going to find some form of this. But angle protectors are relatively new. Because what happens is that bar does bite into the edge of the door, that fragile outside corner of the door that you've got thin, very thin veneer with a backing, a crossband, and over time, you know, that door is going to get chewed up, and you will see over time divots in the door that match this profile perfectly. You do that enough, or that happens enough, and now the door will possibly no longer pass the criteria of having the proper integrity of being a fire-rated door. If you damage it enough, there's going to be a problem. So the angle protector, we find that we sell these separately, and Cal Royal sells them separately as well. Let's take a dimension of this, and then we're going to get into 1 1/8 wide, pardon me, 1 1/8 tall, overall width, about 15/16. On the edge of the door, you've got about 9/16. It's going to have a belt and suspenders, meaning you've got self-adhesive tape and then a screw to get that applied to the edge of the door. So that's going to stay put. You have a total of 7 other screws for the rest of the installation. They do all appear to be the same screw. You're going to have 7 screws. You're going to need 3 for the frame portion, obviously. You're going to need 4 for the door portion. Flathead screws. These are not brass, which is probably a good thing. Brass is very soft, very easy to shear. That's kind of poor. These screws just barely fit into the casing. They fit in really nice into the door into the frame portion. Not so much into the door portion. They'll go, but that needs to be reamed out. I don't say negative things unless I need to say negative things. That's going to have to be skimmed out, Cal Royal. Those screws that you have supplied, they're not even fitting in there. That's going to need to be drilled out. Whatever, that's going to need to come out a 32nd of an inch. So be mindful. That's fit and finish. Caught here live on camera. I will tell you that that is very atypical for Cal Royal and most manufacturers. time to time it does happen. That machining is off on that. And these screws they're all the same. Okay, so whoever's installing that's going to have to clean that out just a touch. Now, moving forward, let's look at the cut sheet. The cut sheet linked to down below this video basically is an overview of everything we've just discussed. Gives you the rude or the basic dimensional properties. 5-inch overall length. Yeah, I'd say that'd be accurate. The base itself, 1 inch. A little shy on that, about 15/16. The overall height, 2 5/8. Yeah, a bit shy on that as well, about 2 9/16. Okay. They do not supply us a position to install the two items together. I'm going to pause this video and see if I can find installation instructions. They do not provide installation instructions on their site. You're going to have to do a reality check and just make sure that this is all going to fit before anything happens. Now, I usually find that a distance between these two plates is about 7/16. That's what I find. I'm going to place this down on my desktop, and I'm just going to do a reality check on it myself for about 7/16. I would say 7/16 would work splendidly in terms of where to margin between these two plates. You're going to hold this back a 1/16 or an 1/8. You're going to hold this back a 1/16 or an 1/8. You're going to make sure that that distance between the two is appropriate. You know, I would probably go about installing this onto the frame, and then I would hold this onto the door and just make sure that I was in a good position. I'd cycle that once or have somebody help. I would then take a center punch while I've got it on the door, and I would spring-loaded center punch each of these holes, boom, 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 and I'd pre-drill and I'd be home free on the installation. The link below this video to the product catalog will show you the immediate sister products to this item, not the UL listed version mentioned earlier, and HPDL 238 maybe, I forgot the part number. You'll see that there are door guard shims for this material. Now, this client happened to order the DGS100. This is not included. If you need these, order them. All that's going to do is allow you to pad that off the face of your guard itself, the strike portion off the face of the door, and you would do that when you have a casing or a frame condition whereby the material is not practically parallel with each other or flush with each other. If you have a door that's inset or you've got some casing that's hanging off and you need to build the door portion off the door, you can do so. That's just a piece of rubber is all it is. And it has a thickness, they say, of 1/8 of an inch. My caliper's 0.142. So be mindful that that exists for this item. The shims can be bought separately. The angle protectors can be bought separately, and then your entire door guard. The obvious manufacturing problem aside, I am a fan of Cal Royal. They are, for the most part, an incredibly well-oiled machine, meaning you send them orders, they get the stuff shipped out. That's just the bottom line. That's how that's going to work. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page within our website, where you can pull up not only all of the Cal Royal products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Now, Cal Royal is an importer of builder's hardware from overseas. I think 100%. They are very unique in that regard. They are not unique in the regard of being importers. You can buy imported hardware from American, located companies 100 ways to Sunday. There's no need in the world for another company importing Asian builders hardware. What sets Cal Royal apart is this. You're not buying the hinge. You're not buying the door guard. You can buy this anywhere from anyone. What you're buying is the service. And I do believe Cal Royal understands that. You got to send them a PO. There's got to be no nonsense. Ship it, ship it, ship it. The world that we live in now has very little tolerance for, why isn't it here already? and they get that. They do a good job with it. And I would suggest that you review their product catalog as a result of their dependability and reliability when it comes to getting it done. They are also unique in the fact that they are constantly evolving their product line. I don't know that there's any company who has evolved, built onto, and improved over time their offering of hardware. They are practically a one-stop shop when it comes to everything you need to hang a door. Hinges, door closers, lock sets, exit devices, weather stripping, trim and auxiliary. They're not going to give you manufacturing capabilities in their California location because that's probably just an epic warehouse. I've never been there, but I'll go someday. And if you needed, this item in antique nickel, I'm sure that their factory in Asia can do it. They're probably going to need a container load of those, however, so be mindful of that. And speaking of container loads, because of what they do, because they are an importer, their inventory is almost always exceptionally and profoundly available and in stock. That's because they have to buy container loads of this stuff to keep it all rolling. The downside of that is, in the rare occasion when they're out of something, they're out for 10 weeks because they're waiting for more to come in. That is a rare occasion. When I call over there and say, hey, do you have 25 of these? We've got 2,500 of these, is what I'll very commonly hear from them. So good people. If you have any questions on the Cal Royal, this is their part number SBDG00 in a US26D finish, door guard, or any other Cal Royal product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.